Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge in a movie. No.
That's really good.
Hold on, I got to think about two things now. I haven't done this in a while. Or you can DM us. Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge in the comment section of a porn site.
Oh my God, Gavin. You had a second shot at it.
I know.
Do you need a third shot?
Probably. And this is Gaytriarchs.
So we are now officially bi. We're officially bi-weekly.
How's bi going for you, David?
Well, it's hilarious because the second our episode dropped, we got more responses from people saying, no, why are you going bi-weekly? No, we want it every week than we've ever had from you fuckers ever. We got more DMs and emails and messages than you've ever sent us over this thing. Well, bitches, where have you been when we asked you to join the Facebook page?
Bitches.
So it's your fault. You're the problem. You're the one. You're the reason we're going by. And it's just through the end of the year, so everybody calm down. But it was hilarious because literally the second the episode dropped, all of a sudden I was like, why are we getting all these DMs? Oh my God.
Well, please make Gaytriarchs gay again and not bi. And send us your friends and your contacts and you know, how about your corporate sponsorships as well, right?
Yeah.
But in large part, we did this to keep our sanity, and finding the guests is really tough. And so, in all honesty, we could use some help. And we've been asking y'all for your friends and relatives and whatnot for a long time. So send them our way, and also send us, you know, Thule strollers and Keebler crackers and Carter clothing and all the baby industrial complex stuff that could serve as our corporate sponsors as well, please.
So it has been a couple of weeks since school started, and I know we did our back to school episode. We've talked a lot about school, but I feel like now things have settled down. So I'm curious as to like checking in. How is school going for everyone? So how's school going for your kids?
So first of all, my son is a walking zombie right now because he has to get up so much earlier than he's used to. Now, this is my son. So he's famous in our family for his quote that says, I have to get my 10 and a half hours of sleep tonight. And he realized, like, he just pulled the blanket over his head and, like, immediately went to sleep one night when we were up late talking. But anyway, poor kid, he is just walking into walls. He is so tired. Furthermore, we made the terrible decision of following his passion and indulging his interests. And he tried out for the middle school soccer team and made it, which we have on good authority was a very big deal. And then and we were so proud. We're like, our kid is a superstar, right? And then we realized, oh, wait a minute. He's on 3 soccer teams. Like, who's the asshole here? You don't let your child be on 3 sports teams at the same time.
You and I are proof positive to never chase your dreams because look what happens.
Look what it gets you.
Look at what we have become.
And it makes you hate your dream, I would imagine. So then we were the dream killers, and we psychologically manipulated him into agreeing that he needed to bail on that team, which of course we're a never quit family. But we're like, no, this is too much, dude. You are doing 2-a-day practices 4 days a week, plus games the other 3 days of the week. Like, this is unsustainable. Furthermore, you're sacrificing the team for which we pay a lot of money. So it all comes down to money and not chasing dreams, because if we're going to pay for you to become Lionel Messi, then you're going to go to your expensive team instead. So he quit his middle school team.
I love that you have an actual soccer player reference for that, because mine would be Pele from like the late 90s. Like that is my most recent soccer.
Oh, that's the 70s.
I'm a decade away. I mean, God. Holy shit.
Come on, Beckham.
Oh, that's
true. And his
true.
abs.
That's true. David Beckham. Yeah.
Anyway, so he's walking the walls, but we're adjusting. But man, his bedtime has to get earlier and earlier. I mean, we're in the 7s right now, and but poor kid, he's so tired. And then my daughter, who she is just living her best middle school life, and she's bouncing off the walls in the morning and also refusing to eat. And so we're going through. Did you eat in middle school?
Never. I would get a Pop-Tart on the way in the car to school. Yeah.
What, did you stop at 7-Eleven? Or do you mean
we had Pop-Tarts at home, but exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I was so conventional and boring and only child and doted
This is my surprised face.
That there was a bowl of steaming hot oatmeal every single morning for me, which is embarrassing, I suppose. But now,
but this was also the puritanical time. Like this was like the original colonies, right? That's a pretty common breakfast.
It wasn't even oatmeal; it was porridge. It was mush. It was hot mush or
mueslicks.
Yeah. So in those puritanical times, when after I had already milked all the cows and came in to go to my one-room schoolhouse, there was food waiting for me, and I never went through a stage of like not eating in middle school, and so you gotta. How do you instill these values? This knowledge and eating well without like skinny shaming or fat shaming your kids and being like, listen, you cannot skip a meal in the morning and think you're going to go buy an orange juice at school and then that's going to be okay. But I'm a little
or a Celsius or whatever.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard because like I remember middle school just being nutrition was out the fucking window.
Oh no,
like there was concept of nutrition.
I am overthinking the nutrition 100% in comparison. Here I am, and I mean I am only 48. And only look 57. And that is probably largely because of my nutrition, right? So I know I'm overthinking it all.
No, you're not overthinking it because there is something to like, we are trying to create a healthy relationship with food with our kids while at the same time not planting these seeds of food is a killer, food makes you fat, being fat is bad. It's such a tightrope to walk. But like I grew up in a house where like, you can have anything you want at any time. And so I got a little fat and I've always been a little fat. And it's been my entire identity for so long is that like skinny equals successful and happy or whatever. And so I want to instill good eating habits for my kids, if I'm being honest, to avoid them having to go through the I'm fat and then not as attractive psychosis that I went through.
And you are a psycho as far as that goes. You are not fat, David F.M. Vaughn. But I agree with you entirely. I mean, our relationship with food is so difficult. Yesterday, I was just telling you before, I had just kind of a crappy day yesterday. I missed working out. And so instead of working out, I bought on impulse a bag of buffalo flavored Cheetos.
Wow.
I love Cheetos. I love Cheetos.
You can take the boy out of the Walmart.
I ate half of that bag. And with every fistful that I shoved into my cheese-covered face, my mantra was, don't feel guilty, don't feel guilty, don't feel guilty.
Oh, no, I get it. If you've ever seen me eat popcorn, it's like witnessing a zebra being attacked in the savannah and just being torn apart by a lion. It's disgusting.
Wow, all right.
Speaking of...
Don't you dare change the topic.
Sorry.
How is school with you?
Well, it's going good. So I think I said the first day was really rough. Lots of crying. An administrator had to peel my child off of me. But after that, he's gone to kindergarten now. He's been really excited every morning. He has his backpack on before we're ready to go because he wants to get on the bus. The one thing that I've noticed is just so fucking fascinating is that at the bus stop, it's kind of at a park. And so the kids who are there early run around and play. They play tag, they whatever. And so the first couple of days, my son would not leave our side. He just watched them all because there's like the really aggressive kids and there's whatever. Sure. And then slowly but surely, he's like slowly inched his way closer. And then one day he wanted to go near them, but he didn't want to talk to them. And then he like said something to one kid. Now he's one of the kids. Now he's one of the wolf pack running around. He drops his bag as soon as he gets to the bus stop and he runs with these crazy people. But it was fascinating to watch because we as parents were like, go have fun, meet some other kids. But it was all new to him, but he's slowly gotten there. So we're very fortunate that he loves school and he loves his aftercare program. But we still have yet to be in the building. We still have no idea what his classroom looks like. We have no idea. We ask him every day, we're like, where do you eat lunch? And it changes every day. So we have no idea what the truth is. So our back to school night is in a couple weeks. And so I am eager to see all of this because there's something as a parent, as you know, that is really important to like when you think about where your kid is at a certain point of the day, you want to kind of have a image in your head. You want to be like, oh, it's lunchtime and this is what lunch looks like for him.
Yep.
I don't have that I drop him off at 8:05. I don't see him till 6. I'd have no idea where he is or what he's doing at any point.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's going great.
And I can't wait for you to be able to plant that flag on that PTA and be like, step aside, bitches. Here's your new president.
I signed up already. And the president's emailing us like, he says his name and then comma, PTA president. I'm like, bitch, not for long. So yeah, things are fine. But I was reading a book. My son got a Disney stories book from the library and rereading them. And it's one of those moments where you're like, oh, I had no idea how fucking dark this story was until you read it as an adult. I was reading him Snow White, and really all I remembered with Snow White was like, I don't know, there's like dwarfs and like there's an apple, and then she falls asleep, and then he has to like
the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
The mirror.
Yep, exactly. Let me read you a quote from this story that I read out loud to my son. In a jealous rage, the queen called her royal huntsman into the throne room. Take Snow White far into the forest and kill her, she commanded. And as proof of your deed, bring me back her heart in this. She handed the stunned huntsman a beautiful carved box. I was like, what the fuck is happening in here? There's murder. There is like decapitation. I mean, it is like wild.
Is biblical levels of
100%
of murder and mayhem in a children's story, which are so much. Hey, Disney has Disneyfied our whole, like sanitized storytelling.
Wild.
Right?
It's wild how their stories used to be so dark. And so I realized that this week I have fucked up my kids individually, but via classic storytelling. So for my son, Snow White, he's like, why is she going to murder her? And he's going to take the heart out, and you could see the panic in his face. For my daughter, we were playing her songs from Sound of Music. And so, you know all the songs from Sound of Music. It's all very flat, old school comedy, old school musical theater. Well, we were playing her the goodnight song, so long, farewell, blah, 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 blah. And there's all the kids, and they all say their goodnights. We thought, oh, this would be really fun. For whatever reason, the last little girl, the tiniest little girl, Gretel, she says, good night, good night, good night. And she does a little octave jump at the very end as she's like waving. I'm playing it for my daughter. And as soon as that note hits, she burst into tears.
Whoa.
And I said, what's wrong? She goes, I'm going to bed. And something about the music, it's either the literal tone and the wavelength or whatever, hits her soul in a way that stirs it stirs emotion. So she immediately sobbing said, I want to watch it again. And she watches it again. And the second she hits that last little note, burst into tears. So now she is requiring us to play it for her every day. And every day we have to prepare for this little girl to be inconsolable because she thinks that Greta singing that last bit of Sound of Music is the most beautiful thing she's ever heard.
Wow. Hey, we want to think of music and musicals as being so emotionally evocative that we could just burst into tears. And maybe this is like, because her soul hasn't been tarnished and destroyed yet, and she still has a sense of awe and wonder, and
it's beauty. I mean, when's the last time you were watching a musical and you burst into tears? I can tell you, for me, it was the revival of Color Purple when she sang, "I'm Here," and I just went, like it was one of those things that like something was escaping my body. What about you?
I cannot think of a time ever. Because
you're dead inside, I forget.
Because I'm dead inside. Right. Because I'm absolutely dead inside. I can't think of... Well, I did see the original Color Purple in...
1875.
Right. Yeah. That was definitely... The Color Purple was definitely not a Broadway musical in 1875. No, in what? Like 2006 or 7 or something. Somewhere. It's 8 or 9. Anyway, and I didn't know the story at all. And so when the sister comes down the aisle returning, that I didn't know the story, so I was completely thrown over by that one. But being able to hear something so beautiful is a privilege, to be able to like just be that emotionally raw and take the journey. And I wish that every artistic experience were like that. But
Amen.
Anyway,
So I have an actual helpful dad hack this week that I don't think we've ever done before, but I did it this past weekend and I went, this is the purest form of hack where you're like unexpected, easy, and very impactful. So we went outside and we painted with water. Just paintbrushes or little artistic paintbrushes and just little cups of water everywhere. And we just go on the sidewalk and they paint with water. It makes a really cool mark. And it eventually disappears after 3 or 4 minutes. And it's just a constant stream of painting with water. And then when you're done, zero fucking cleanup. And I know it sounds a little like babyish. You're like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. My 5 and 2-year-old are fascinated with this. They love it so much. So painting with water.
It's the original Etch-a-Sketch. Do they still make Etch-a-Sketches? Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, that's... hey, I mean, I definitely... I compare that to being at a pool, even in, I don't know, middle school or high school. And when you get out of the pool and lay down on the warm concrete, and you can't help, who doesn't want to just kind of write with their wet fingers right on the, yeah. We all need to do a little wet graffiti once in a while. That's awesome. And then, hey, how about some gay news, huh?
Please tell me you have good gay news.
You know what? I have so much good gay news that
good.
I'm just going to read you headlines.
Amazing.
But I will, and one of the best parts of the good gay news is that our friend Joe Starbuck, or whatever the fuck his name is, Jimmy Starbuck, he is not in the news right now. Thank goodness.
God.
So another corporation has not kowtowed to him. But I'm just going to read some headlines for you real quick to just make you smile, okay?
Okay.
First of all, Governor Andy Bashir. Do you know who Governor Andy Bashir is?
I do.
I mean, first of all, America's hottest governor, probably.
Yeah, I mean, like him and Gavin Newsom, just raw dogging each other would be a video I would watch. Excuse me, I know this is. Listen, it's labeled NSFW, people. It's labeled NSFW. You guys chose to click on this fucking episode.
Governor Andy Bashir bans conversion therapy in Kentucky with an executive order. He's just like, I'm not even going to let anybody else vote on this. We're just going to say conversion therapy is BS. Biden breaks the record for the most LGBTQ judges confirmed.
Amazing.
The Florida district agrees to return 36 obscene books to the libraries.
Nice.
Thank you very much. An LGBT group endorses a straight Democrat over a gay Republican. Hey, principled.
Hey, absolutely.
Principled. And then, of course, there is the saga of the lieutenant governor in North Carolina who's running for governor and is all over the news right now because he put himself all over the chat room of a porn site. And
I love it.
Hilarious.
I love it. It's so Nana forwarding the Nigerian prince email. It's so like, who comments on porn videos? What you do is when you're done, you slam your laptop down and you pretend it never happened and you live with guilt for the rest of your day. Exactly. God, being a grown-up.
You live with guilt and you go back to your everyday life. But no, he has doubled down. So Robertson. And finally, one more bit of great gay news for you. Do you know who Laura Loomer is? Does that name sound familiar?
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy right-wing.
Yep.
Yeah, right-wing provocateur who's going around throwing bombs all over the place. And yet she's also like getting into scruffles, right? With the people on her own side, particularly Marjorie Taylor Greene, et cetera. Well, apparently she and Lindsey Graham are going after each other. Her headline to him is just, "We all know you're gay." Which is so funny. I mean, have you gone down much of the Lindsey Graham is gay factor? Like, there's a whole hashtag that calls him Lady G.
I just can't, like, to me, it's like not fun because it's so obvious. Like, what's the fun part of like figuring out if he's gay or not? He's so clearly homosexual of like the Southern 1960s type.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? He's like a little fussy. Yeah. No.
Anyway, so there you go. I think we're going to leave it with a bunch of great gay news there for you. All right.
You know what's not great and definitely not in the news?
Do tell.
Our top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
So this week is my week. It is the top 3 movies starring a lesbian. A lesbian actress. Not the character's not a lesbian, or could be, I guess, but top 3 movies starring a lesbian to honor all of our lesbian listeners.
Sure.
So I will go first. In number 3 for me, Ellen DeGeneres as Dory in Finding Nemo.
Okay.
That is a
All right.
great movie. In the
Wow, that's
screenwriting world,
That's number 3?
it gets
I
better.
can't wait to hear
It
what your
gets
2 and
better.
1 are.
In the screenwriting world, Finding Nemo is one of those like perfect stories where you're like, this is how you tell a story. These characters are great or whatever. So Ellen DeGeneres as Dory in Finding Nemo. Number 2, I don't know if you remember this character, is Holland Taylor as Professor Stromwell in Legally Blonde, the movie. Because in the musical, they combine Callahan and Stromwell as one character. But in the movie, Elwood's first, kerfuffle in the class is with Holland Taylor playing Professor Stromwell. So,
Alrighty.
Number 2, Legally
Alrighty.
Blonde.
Okay. Love it.
And number 1, my favorite movie of all time, with my favorite lesbian actress of all time, Jodie Foster playing Ellie Arroway in Contact. Best movie of all time. And my
really?
favorite.
Best ever?
Not the best movie of all time. My personal favorite movie of all time. Captures my fascination and just the magic of space every single time I watch it. So yeah.
I don't think I've seen Contact. That's worth going back and seeing. Huh?
Absolutely. If you love the idea of just kind of the universe and what's out there, and also maybe making contact with other people. And to me, what's interesting about the movie is, other than like she goes out into space and, sees things and people, is that how we as humans on the ground react to the discovery of this, and how humans are terrible is basically the summation of the entire movie. Humans are terrible people. What about you, Gavin? Did you really prepare this and you were really ready today?
Some things are harder than others. And I admit, I stood here and I thought, I'm not just going to go Google lesbians in movies, because somehow that didn't seem like the right way to go. And so mine is going to be a succinct list. Okay. Ready? Number 3, Mulan. Can I do that?
Is Mulan a lesbian? Wait,
no.
Is Lea Salonga, who voiced Mulan?
I didn't get the assignment, and I sucked at this week. But I was just making.
Why don't you just Why don't you just pull a Biden and just bow out? Do the heroic thing and just bow out.
My claim to fame is, as far as movies goes, aside from children's movies, which I've certainly seen Dory and Legally Blonde, which is not a children's movie, but my claim to fame is I've never seen The Breakfast Club, because I have seen so few movies. So yeah, I'm going to pull a Biden and bow out of this one.
Bow out of the shit. Well, can you at least choose what next week's top next episode's top 3 list will be?
Next episode's top 3 list is going to be the top 3 animated movies you watch with your kids that are not Disney.
This week, our guest is yet another straight man I have seen naked way too many times. He's an Emmy-nominated actor who is the star of shows like AMC's Kevin Can Fuck Himself and Kirsty on TV Land. He's also starred in a million Broadway shows like School of Rock, Spelling Bee, Escape from Margaritaville, Shrek, and Peter and the Starcatcher. He's also, most importantly, a dad, and someone that's in my inner circle and knows where all my personal bodies are buried. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Mushy Bananas himself, Eric Petersen.
What mushy bananas. I take personal offense to that, but
okay. Listen, mushy bananas is true. Okay, let's just jump right into it. Hey everybody, what's up? Right, I hate, with all of the passion of my entire being, mushy anything, but especially mushy bananas. It's hard for me to say it.
Yeah, I'm gagging.
It's hard for me to even say it. Yes. So, and David knew this, and so he would. One time, I came back to my dressing room during Shrek, and I also hate whipped cream. Because again, mushy. I like things that I can hold. Texture. I want to be able to grab it. And I came back to my dressing room, and in my dressing room on my seat was a little styrofoam bowl that was filled with. I swear they must have left these bananas out for a week, and then they put whipped cream on top of it. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Eric, so bad. I so relate to this. I have gagged That nothing makes me gag. All right.
Yes.
Insert joke here, David. But mushy bananas are the most disgusting thing on the entire planet. I can only eat them. Bananas, really, I can only enjoy them where they're basically crunchy, like just almost green. But oh god, squishy bananas. It's just like the men at the banana factory just squish it through their teeth, and that's what you're eting is disgusting. So
Don't say that.
I think the lesson here is never show weakness in front of me, or I will capitalize on that weakness. Eric,
this is true.
He had literally mentioned it, and I was like, "Okay, team, we need to find the mushiest bananas in Chicago." Like it was like my. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show, Eric. Eric is obviously I've known Eric for 15, 20, 100 years. I don't know. I've known you for way too long. And before we get into it, please tell us how your children have annoyed you today.
How my children have annoyed me today. Well, I have 2 kids. I have a daughter, Sophie, who is 14, who David met the day she was born, maybe the next day.
Wow.
The next day after she was born. And so she's 14, so she's a freshman in high school now. And then my son, Miles, is 9 years old and is in 4th grade. My daughter is in the throes of the beginning of high school. So is, I will say I'm very lucky and blessed that she is not a snotty teen yet.
That's good.
She still loves us and she doesn't hate to be around us. But she is 14 and dealing with just too many clubs and too many friend issues and trying to juggle all that stuff. And then when we try to talk to her and be like, how was your day? It seems like maybe you had a tough day. And she's like, I'm just really stressed. There's a lot going on. And then we're like, okay, well, can we help you? Tell us what's going on. Maybe we can help you manage it. And then she's like, you wouldn't understand. And then we try to tell her once we get a little bit of information. And then she's like, I don't need a lecture. I just need to come home to a safe space where I can just be able to let down. And I was like, I know, but we're just trying to help you, it reminds me, have you seen, I think it's This Is 40, the movie with Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann. There's a scene where their teenage daughter is trying to pick out what to wear to school or something, and she's just like, I have nothing to wear. I hate my life. I hate everything. And you're like, oh my god, there's just so many feelings. Just feeling all over the place. Yeah. So I'm dealing with that with my daughter, and then my son Miles is, like I said, is 9 and is, he's getting stronger. So we wrestle a lot and we love to roughhouse and all that. And he's now I'm pretty sure I'm going to need surgery on my thumb because he pulled my thumb back really hard once. And I was like, and now I'm like, oh, my thumb hurts all the time.
I wonder if you can call CPS on him. I wonder if it works the same way.
I need child protective services. That's what I need, yeah. But no, he's the best. Yeah.
My 2-year-old is so strong right now. I do the same thing where I'll tickle her and she's like, she pushes me away. She kicked me so hard in the chest the other day that it knocked the wind out of me. I was like, I can't breathe. You know how when you go on the Gravitron, but as an adult, and you just can't breathe for a while? That's how it felt. And I was like, wait a minute, you're too young for this. So, oh, wow.
In my takeaway from what you've just described also, though, because I have a preteen, soon-to-be teen, who I'm trying to help navigate through, I don't know, are we in a Mean Girls state or not? And joining clubs is only what losers do. In fact, when I was trying to encourage her to to try theater. Listen, I am not going to encourage her to follow in my footsteps by
please don't, because look what happens.
Because look what happens. 82 episodes and 24 cents later, that's what you're left with. However, I do feel like I just wanted to try it. Obviously theater folk are fun folk, right? And she said to me, and I quote, and David, I forget if I've already said this on this show, theater is just rehab for emos. I mean,
that needs to be on a t-shirt.
Right?
Kind of.
I'd wear that shirt.
Can we sell that on Zazzle? We could get some money for that.
Merch. We got merch coming right now.
It sounds like you have the just right amount of nerdiness in your daughter. And how do you cultivate that? Because I'm so jealous.
I do think, and I think you guys would both agree, being theater folks, I think that it's in your blood or it's not. It's either you're born with it or you're not. And my daughter clearly, and David knows this, I mean, like, came out of the womb with jazz hands. I mean, she just was
she had her
like
16-bar cut right now.
I mean, she was like ready to go. We always joke. We always tell this story about we went to go see, me and my wife Lisa went to go see La Cage on Broadway when she was pregnant with Sophie. And during one of the kick line moments, Sophie was kicking to the beat in Lisa's tummy. And so I like felt her stomach in the theater like while it was happening. And it was like, and so, she was really meant to do it.
That's amazing. I remember there's an old video of like Sophie leading a dance. Do you remember? And me and my husband are like following her around the living room. And I know it was a long time ago because like the quality of the video is not great.
Very grainy,
iPhone 4 instead of iPhone 16.
It's just a bunch of cave drawings of what it is. Yeah. Well, so that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about on the show is that like you had her while we were on the road. We were literally
bonkers.
In the not in the middle, the very beginning of the tour. And your wife gave birth to your first child. And then you toured for the next year. Like, I mean, I obviously had a front row seat to it, but I'm curious, like, how did you do that? How did you survive?
Well, okay, so here's how the story goes. We found out that we were pregnant, which I'll tell that quick version of that story because that is a good story too. Mm-hmm. When the Broadway company of Shrek was just finishing up, we had like 4 or 5 weeks to go. This guy, Ben Crawford, was becoming Shrek because Brian Darcy James was moving on. He had been the standby. I was becoming the standby, but we knew we only had like 3 or 4 weeks left of the run. So I was pretty sure I was never going to go on, but I did get to have a put-in rehearsal. I did my put-in rehearsal on a Friday. Went pretty great. I felt good about it. Came home when my wife answered the door. She was videotaping me. And I thought she just wanted to know how great I was in the put-in. And I was like, yeah, it was awesome. And people loved me. Yeah, it was pretty great. And she kept filming me. And I was like, why are you still filming me? And she said, look at the sink. And on the sink was 4 positive pregnancy tests. And so like we knew. Wow. And so we spent the whole night, of course, we're like, oh my God, we're going to be parents. This is amazing. Like, what if it's a boy? What if it's a girl? What are we going to name it? Oh my God, our life has changed. This is amazing. Got like no sleep. And then the next morning they called and they were like, Ben's sick. It's a Saturday. You're on for both shows today. And so that was like my first time playing Shrek on Broadway was like 7 hours after I found out that I was going to be a dad. And so a lot of people, you may remember this, David, like everybody was like, oh my God, you were so like focused and in the moment. It didn't seem to like overwhelm you. And in truth, it was because half my brain was like, I'm going to be a dad. Oh my God. So I wasn't able to totally freak out in the way that I probably would have had that not happen. So anyway, so now my wife is pregnant. The tour is coming up. We're kind of looking at the dates and we're like, this could prove to be problematic. Like just looking at when, like basically we had 2 opening nights scheduled for basically the same time. And so my wife did all of her prenatal care in New York. And then we found a doctor in Chicago that was willing to take us at 9 months pregnant. And my wife had done 1 trip out to Chicago to like meet with this woman at least once. And then at 9 months pregnant, we bought a minivan and we drove from New York to Chicago. We like prayed that we didn't have the baby in Cleveland. We made it to Chicago.
At the Reserve Square apartments across from the bus station.
Exactly. And so we made it to Chicago. And then we had like 2 weeks of tech and dress and stuff like that. And we figured, well, that's when the baby will come at some point in that. And I was very clear with DreamWorks where I was like, I am going to leave to go to the birth of my child. Like,
no matter
and I
what.
said, right. I said, if we're in a show, I said, I won't leave in the middle of an act. But if I find out during the first act that my wife's in labor, I'm going to leave an intermission. Mm-hmm. And they were like, okay, we get it. But we just kept thinking it would happen during one of the tech rehearsals or dress rehearsals. No baby, no baby, no baby, no baby. Now we're like past the due date. So it really could be any moment. We get to opening night was on a Tuesday or like first preview, so we did like Tuesday show, no baby. Wednesday we had 2 shows. So I called my wife. I mean, obviously I asked her before I left. I was like, you're not feeling anything? She was like, no, I'm good. Go to the show. So I did the matinee. I called her after the matinee. She's like, no, I'm good. Do the second show. And I said, okay, great. Then on the way home on Wednesday night, I called her and I said, how you feeling? And she said, well, my contractions are probably about like 7-8 minutes apart. And I was like, when did they start? And she said, noon.
When?
Noon. They started at noon, which means that was
Liar.
before the matinee. And,
Wow.
But she was like, I didn't want to worry you. You had a show to do. It takes a while. And I was like, Lisa, what are you doing? So anyways, we went to the hospital, had Sophie on Thursday afternoon is when she finally came. I was out of the show on Thursday night. I was back in the show on Friday.
Holy cow.
On Saturday for the matinee, when we left the hospital, I had a matinee. And so Lisa drove from the hospital as opposed to me. I was in the passenger seat. Sophie was in a car seat. Lisa rolled out of the hospital, dropped us off at the theater. And then it was like, all right, have a good matinee, and went home with the baby. And then it's really, David, you say, how did we do it? I didn't do it. It was all Lisa. She really she was so brave to want to take that on, of
no doubt,
of being together. Right. Mm-hmm. She put a lot of trust in, our sort of community of the people involved in the show. And luckily everybody really was awesome. And, it's not that we necessarily needed a lot of babysitting, but just emotional support and being around Sophie and around Lisa and giving her a sense of community and not feeling like she was just alone in a hotel room with a newborn was really huge and helpful. And we my wife was an actress at one point as well and still works in the theater, so she's a theater person. She gets that sort of gypsy lifestyle. And we just kind of were like, let's have this adventure together. And I still think to this day, and I think I've told you this, David, that Sophie, my daughter, even though she's was just a baby and it was just the first year of her life on tour, I think she is super amenable to change and new situations because of that first year of her life. Because
no doubt,
from the get-go, she was in a new hotel room every week and with new dressers around her and new people and so she has an ability to be dropped into a new situation and just kind of be like, okay, I took a lay of the land and now let's go. And so I do think that it was a great experience for her, and it's a great story for her to tell whenever people are like, where are you from? And she's like, well, I'm actually from 26 cities in the first year of my life,
And her frequent flyer miles are insane.
No doubt. Well, wait a minute. You were driving that. You doubled down on the grocery getter from the get-go. You're saying you drove a minivan out of New York City.
I remember on days when we would leave, I remember if you walked by the minivan, just new parents stress packing the back of this Toyota Highlander to get to the next venue.
It was wild. I mean, it was, I gotta say, it was, and David will remember this, and I've told this story before. I had, let's just get right into the good stuff. I had what might be considered a nervous breakdown, or at the very least, a massive panic attack. Do you remember this in San Francisco?
I remember it so well because our dressing rooms were close enough to each other where I could hear you before and during the show.
So basically, okay, let's get into it this way. Because we were driving, our weekly schedule usually was we'd finish the show on a Sunday. And then me and Lisa and Sophie would get in the minivan. And if we didn't drive that night, we'd drive early Monday morning and spend most of Monday driving to whatever the next city was, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours away, right? We'd get to the next city. On Tuesday, we would do sound check and then do a show. Wednesday morning, I was usually doing some kind of press early in the morning and then show on Wednesday. Thursday morning, usually some kind of press, show on Thursday. Friday mornings usually were free. Then we do a Friday night show, do 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, and then travel and do the next week. So I was loving it and I was feeling great about it, but I definitely was getting a little exhausted. And, I will say, luckily, Sophie was a very good sleeper and my wife handled a lot of the late night feedings and stuff like that. But I still was a new parent and it was, a lot going on and the stress of that.
I mean, you were already so incredibly sleep deprived at that moment.
Right.
And your job is to look awake, although admittedly you were playing Shrek, so you didn't have to be
the grumpiness. I could lean into it. Yeah.
Also buried under prosthetics.
Yeah. You couldn't see the circles under the eyes. Right. But anyways, we were in San Francisco and it was a Wednesday matinee and I was feeling totally fine. I was not feeling in any kind of it's all building to this moment. I can't take it. I really felt totally fine. Excuse me. And I came up for the opening of Shrek has kind of a little like, prologue thing, and then they're like, and here comes Shrek, da, 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 bah! And then Shrek comes out and sings this big opening number. And this particular day, I come out and I'm like, got my big buckets or whatever, and we had a turntable on the stage, and when I was walking to Downstage Center, our turntable had like a tiny little lip, and I tripped just a little bit, not like to where I fell, but just kind of like caught my foot a little bit, and it was as if I could hear, like in the Matrix, like somebody unplugged the back of my brain, and in my head I just heard bzzz, like all the systems shut down. And I'm standing there down center stage, top of the show, all alone in Shrek the Musical as Shrek. And I don't have a fucking clue what the name of the song is, what the tune is, any of the lyrics, where I'm supposed to be standing. I mean, I got nothing. All
Billy Porter
systems
calls
have
that
shut
the
down.
white room. He calls it the
yes.
white room, where you
It
just
was-
walk, all of a sudden you're just standing in a white room and you're like,
You have no information.
No
You have
information. Somebody.
I got nothing to do here. And I'm looking down at the music director, and he's kind of like, what the hell are you doing? And so I just, for not a verse and a chorus, but an entire 4-minute song, just went like this. And then eventually I remembered the title of the song. I eventually got to that.
Yep.
So I think I finished with like, world, like with just one word. And the audience sort of was like, what the hell was that?
For those
This
of you
is
who know the
top
show,
of
the last words of that number is all mine. So already you're not doing great.
Not doing the right things. And then I came off stage and I was like, somebody get me a script. I don't know what anything is. And no, this is 6 months into the tour.
6 months into a run of a show you've been doing forever, and they're like,
For like a year.
script? What are you talking about, a
I was like,
script?
I need a script. And so I was like literally looking at the script until I'd walk on stage. And I had a couple more moments in that show and the night show where, not like full songs where I went up, but I had a couple more moments because I was just, now I'm like, truly, I never experienced stage fright ever in my life, but then I finally understood it. And then eventually the stage manager came to me at intermission on the evening show, and he was like, how you doing, buddy? And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't be an actor. I need to go home and go to bed. I'm so scared and tired and mad and sad. And like, I
Keep
just
in mind,
had, like,
an ogre, a grown man dressed as an ogre, is
in the
having this
full
conversation.
Shrek,
Yeah.
And so they were like, all right, can you finish the show? And I was like, I think so. And so I finished the show, but then I was out of the show. But I finished it, and then I took a week out of the show. I took a full week off, and I sent Lisa and Sophie down to Florida, where my wife is from, and her family's down there. And so she just went to visit grandparents. And I like wandered the streets of San Francisco for a week by myself in like a pea coat and just like thinking about my life, and like, and then I was back to normal, and I've been fine ever since. But like, I think it really was, my brain got to a point of like, okay, this is too much. Like we've stacked too many things into the thing. Yeah. Into the systems.
I obviously could hear you prior to every show in the overture. You would be singing your song because the overture had the same tune in it. And I could hear you just being like, it's a big, bright, beautiful world. Like just mumbling as a crazy person up and down the hallways. And I know, as you do, when you go to the white room, going over the lyrics, focusing on is not going to help. You have to do a hard reset. You have to unplug. You have to do a hard reset, as you did. But oh my God, I remember that. And I also know how terrifying that is. I remember that happened to me. There's a number in the show that I did where
kind of similar,
I basically am just sitting there for the first 3 verses, and they're all kind of similar. Ballad of Farquaad. And I would just be singing the song, and I got too comfortable where I would be like daydreaming about like, do I have a Marriott Bonvoy account? I don't know if I have a Marriott, but I want to get my point because Omni is next week. I'm like going, and I remember one time being like, Daddy, and I went, oh God, I'm in the white room. Oh no, David, you cannot. And I was like, never. So then every night at that point, I'd go, focus, David.
Yeah.
Focus on the song you're singing. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, you survived a year, your first year as a dad, on tour in hotel rooms with a newborn, leading a show, poorly I might add, but you led the show.
I cannot imagine. I mean, we have said many times on this show, you don't need all the shit that people says you need when
No,
you've
you
got
don't.
a newborn, right? You don't need the wipe warmers. You don't need this, that, and the other.
No.
They're just house plants. They don't need anything more than Tupperware till about a year and a half.
This is true.
However, being in a hotel where nothing is yours, I can't imagine that sense of like rootless, like, I don't even know if I needed something. I don't know what it is because I'm in a hotel and you can't go accrue stuff, although hence minivan, I would imagine. But like,
I think because we started that way, there was no sense of like,
it was your normal.
Oh, but where's the wipe warmer? Like, we didn't need any.
Yeah.
Like, we had a crib. She had a couple of toys. She had a car seat. She had a playmat. We had a little bumpy seat or whatever the hell it was called.
Go.
You know,
yeah, that's all you need.
We're good. You know.
And how old was she when you left tour?
A year. The tour ended in LA, and she had her first birthday like the last week or two of the show. Yeah,
wild. I mean that what a wild, like looking back now and like pulling it all apart. It's like how any of us did it, but how you did it is absolutely beyond me. One of the ways we got through it, and you and I could literally spend an hour and a half on this.
Clearly,
podcast
we've lost
telling
all of our audience
stories.
anyway.
Yeah. I know. I just want to tell one story because it is in my top 3 favorite stories to tell about the theater. It's not a mishap, which I want to ask you about a mishap on stage, but Eric mentioned that we do a lot of press, and every week there was 4 principals in the show. All 4 of us would always do radio interviews, TV stuff, and it's always the same stuff. And you know, it's fun, it's wonderful, but it can get a little repetitive. Yeah. And so all 4 of us decided that we were going to create a little game, and we were going to come up with a bunch of phrases and words and stuff that were just really weird to say. But if we could get it into a live interview, we got a certain amount of points.
Nice.
And if we got it, and at the end of the tour, we would add up our points, and somebody would win a prize. And so they were just silly things. And one of the things we mentioned, and that we had to get points for, we had to mention that Eric was a big fan of unicorns, and that he had an entire unicorn collection at home somehow. And one of our
this is not true, though. By the way, I do not. I'm not really.
Please don't send him unicorns. Please don't send him unicorns. But so Haven somehow got it into one of the interviews that Eric has this huge unicorn collection. It's his whole life is unicorns. We are in San Diego, California. And this is months after this
months,
interview.
Like 4 or 5 months,
maybe a year
later.
afterwards. Yeah. It was a long time. And we're at the stage door signing autographs. You're very welcome. And I'm out first, obviously, because Eric takes a long time to get out. And so I'm signing autographs, and this kid comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, is Eric coming out?" And I said, "Oh yeah, he'll be out soon." And he goes, "Oh, because I made this for him." He pulls out a hand stitched with love unicorn shirt,
like jersey, like almost like a sports jersey. Yeah,
but it was made out of like girls' figure skating material,
kind of like silvery mesh kind of thing.
It had like silver mesh and purple, and he had hand stitched a unicorn,
big unicorn on the chest.
And when I tell you, this boy was beaming with pride. He was so excited to hand this to Eric Petersen. I floated out of there. Now, I knew it would be an hour before he came out, so I was like, and I just remember waiting for the text. I was like, please let this happen soon. To date, one of my favorite things that is,
and I still have it. He still
has the shirt. Nice. I should have made you wear it for this interview.
I should have found it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I have let me tell. Oh, I'm gonna totally. I apologize. There's one more good press story that was similar to this. So when Haven, who was playing Fiona, and we were on, I think in Oklahoma City or something like that. Again, middle of the tour, we're getting a little exhausted, and they're playing B-roll of Fiona, and she has that song "I Know It's Today," where she's like flipping through the book, right, and she like is ripping out pages and stuff. And as they're showing this B-roll, and Haven's giving some answer to the morning show person about the show, I just pipe in and I go, fun fact, Haven actually learned to read for this show. And I just said it just like that. Like, not too, I just like said, this is a cool fact. And the morning show host was like, congratulations, that's really great. And like totally bought it. And Haven just like went with it. Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Do you think DreamWorks ever knew that we were putting like we had like words like bison that we had to get into an interview about theater? Like, it was just the weirdest thing. And I won't tell the story about us pranking you on Broadway, but that was a pretty good story too. Bring it back to kids. So you did this whole tour with a newborn. Yeah. After doing that, do you feel like you have one or two dad hacks where you're like, this is one thing I learned that could maybe help dads in the future?
Yes, I have two things. One is one, and I always tell this to new dads. When you find out you're going to be a dad, everybody tells you to read What to Expect While You're Expecting, right? And it is a great book, and there is good information in it. But it's long, and there's a lot of stuff. And really, all you need to know when you're expecting is keep the mom fed and let her sleep. Like, that's it. Just go to the doctor. You know,
this is like invaluable information for a podcast that caters to gay men.
Absolutely.
Let them talk, Gavin. Let them talk.
But what I always say is the thing to read before the baby comes, because once the baby comes, you have no time, is to read the first year of What to Expect in the first year, because that's actually the information that you need to know. What are the milestones? When should you be looking for crawling? When should you be looking for rolling over? When should they have words? And because you're not going to have time to read that book when it's happening. But in that pre-time, that's when to read that book. Don't worry about the What to Expect. And then my second hack is don't do anything that you're not willing to do 10,000 times. And what I mean is, I was really bad at early days of, I'd be like, oh, I can put my kid in like a laundry basket and spin him around in the air. And it's like, they love that. Then I had to do it a bajillion
10,000 times.
So like, that's the hack, is don't do anything that you're not willing to do a bajillion times.
Former guest on the show, Derek Cahill, mentioned something called bedtime math, which is similar, where like, if you do something at bedtime, like you do a little dance when you walk out the door, that's it forever. Yeah, forever. You're going to be asked to do that dance every day. Don't add, because if you add a little song to that dance, now you're beholden to that.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So you've done a lot of stage stuff. You're starring in, or you starred in, Kevin Can Fuck Himself on AMC, which was so great, but also went away and now is having some weird resurgence.
Yes.
What is happening?
Okay. So basically, we shot this show, Kevin Can Fuck Himself, for AMC 2 years ago. It aired, people don't watch AMC as much as they did when it was Breaking Bad and Mad Men. And also at the time, AMC was launching their AMC Plus streaming service, which, I'm pretty sure is gone now. It may still be alive, but it didn't pop off, let's say. Yes. And they were really trying to use our show to like funnel people to that. So we didn't get like a bajillion eyeballs of press. But then they recently sold it to Netflix, and it just got released on Netflix like 3-4 weeks ago. And it is like popping off on social media. Like, people are watching it, they're loving it, and they're really enjoying like dissecting it and talking about what it means and all the different subplots of it. And so it's been very cool to sort of have this like show that I was very proud of, but I was kind of like, nobody really saw it. The people that saw it liked it, but I guess it's just another one into the resume box. But now it's sort of popping off again, which is very, very exciting.
Part of it is because the show does something pretty groundbreaking in its format. Like, every show is unique or different, but like, this show was a traditional multicam look, right? Mm-hmm. You have 4 cameras, you have a studio audience.
Yep.
But then also it has a single cam dark side of it. And though if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch an episode of the show, because you don't realize how jolting it is to go from one of those formats to the other until you watch it. And that was such a unique twist on this like sitcom world.
Yeah. It really it was a truly original idea, which is so rare in any entertainment format nowadays. It really was like, whoa, no one's ever really done this before. If you want to get a sense of what the show is, just watch the first 10 minutes of the pilot, and you'll get both sides, and you'll see what the show is going to feel like. Basically, David's right. It varies between a multicam and a single cam. Anytime I'm on screen, it's a multicam, and then anytime I leave the screen, it becomes a single cam drama. So it's
And
a
better.
very cool show and very
And as
meta,
soon as you're off screen, it's better.
Now that
Do
it's
you know what
had-
I mean? It just gets better. It's a better show, is my opinion.
Now that it's
my
had-
opinion.
Now that it's had a resurgence also when your daughter is 14, given the subject matter of the title at least, are you, when she was 12, were you like, hey, I'm in a show called Kevin Can Fuck Himself? But now she's 14, it's like, it's kind of cool. I mean, what does she think of it? Isn't she watching?
Well, my kids always call it the Kevin Show. They just call it because they know what it's called, and so like,
Because that's what you call it. Let's be honest.
Basically, yeah. But like they, we attempt to not curse in our house. We definitely break that rule, but like we attempt to, keep it kosher. And, but so that's why they would always just call it the Kevin Show, especially when like other adults would be like, oh, your dad's on a TV show. And they'd be like, yeah, it's the Kevin Show. And they'd always say it with a little wink in their eye, They have not watched it. They've watched scenes of it. But it is more of an adult show. So they haven't really watched it.
Yeah, because Kirsty was more of a traditional.
Yeah, that was a
traditional
sitcom.
multicam where kids could watch that and whatever. But yeah, this one gets very dark.
It does,
right?
Yeah,
there are moments of
even in the pilot. It gets pretty gruesome. Yeah.
It is a cool show, though. I will say that. So before we wrap up, listen, I literally could talk to you forever, and we could tell so many more embarrassing stories about each other. But they're at the top of my queue. Like, I'm just like, should I do it? No, this is a public platform. There's hundreds of listeners, and so I just want to make sure that we keep it good. But I want to ask you, what is what is your favorite stage mishap other than the one you told us? I love like things go wrong on Broadway stories, and we all have a million of them. So do you have like your favorite, like, oh, this is when everything went wrong on stage?
Oh, I mean, I tell the story that I told earlier where
it's a pretty good one.
That one was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying. I'll tell this story. It's not okay. Yes, I actually have a great story, and it's your story, David. So this is good.
Good. We're all here for it. We're all
this is a good story. Okay, so while we were doing Shrek on Broadway together, David and I did the voices. There's a song called the Travel Song, and David and I did the voices of. During the Travel Song, there was like a little puppet crossing kind of thing that would happen upstage. And one thing was like they threw a cow over the moon, and I would just go moo as the cow like went over the moon. There was a bit of a Lion King gag, and so David would go "Na Tsagonya, or whatever, like sing the thing from Lion King.
Yeah,
and we would always stand next to each other on stage right in Wing 3. We just stood there so we could sort of time it out. We could see what was happening. We time it out to the thing. It was like our little bit in the track of our show. And we always stood next to each other. We'd do our little bit, and then we'd walk off and chat about whatever.
I can't imagine doing that without laughing 75% of the time.
Yes. And so we, one day, I go to Wing 3 and stage right, and I do my moo, and David's not next to me, and I was like, I wonder where he's at. He must be doing it from somewhere else today, I guess. I don't know. Not my problem. But then it's like, I've done my moo, and it's coming up to his thing, and I'm kind of like, where is he? And I kind of peek my head around backstage, and I happen to look into the quick change area where there's like 15 people all doing big costume changes and makeup changes, and it's very loud and chaotic and everything. And I just happen to catch David's eye as he it just happens to turn to the right, sees me, his brain goes, oh shit. And then he, in the middle of this group of people, just goes, and he does his thing. Now I go up to David afterwards and I was like, dude, where were you? And he was like, I totally forgot. And thank God you saw me, because he said that he was in the middle of telling the dirtiest joke. And had they turned on his mic in this kid's show, and he would have been like, and then you stick it deep into this, and then I don't know what he was saying, but it was bad. And he just happened to catch my eye just in time to say his line.
Awesome.
Thank God for the good sound engineers on that Broadway show, because I was talking to the girls in the dressing room, and we were talking about, the white dragon and all the the
rusty
gross
trombone,
sexual, all of those things. Well, everyone was one-upping each other, and I was like, wait guys, I got the one. And I don't even know if I could say it on this podcast is NSFW, and I don't even know if I could say it. But let's just say I'm going to perform it as I did it in the same timing, and Eric can
Yes.
totally confirm this. So I'm going to start telling the joke, and then I'm going to do it like. So I was like, and then you shit into a condom, and then you put it in the. It was that close, and I remember walking up the stairs at intermission going, I'm gonna get fired. And I remember thinking, like, what should I pack first? Should I like get my like I was literally like, should I get dressed now, or should I like when should I get fired? Because there's a sea of children just heard me say shit into a condom. And 1,500 children are crying because of what I said. Oh my God, I will never forget that story. That is a great story. Of course, it's embarrassing for me.
Well, it was lovely for all the rest of us to come and have cocktail hour with reminiscing with David and Eric. In the meantime, please do share with us, Eric. We'd love to be able to end on one good note of I will never forget the time when, and no, this isn't about you on stage. This is about you and a kiddo. Tell us the time you'll never forget with Sophie or Miles.
I mean, I'll say this. I have a great picture somewhere of Sophie threw up on me one time.
Yeah.
And it literally was the shape of Africa. I mean, it was like the exact shape of, like, with all the little inlets and, like, bays that would be around
Kenya
the continent.
was correctly written. Like,
it was geographically perfect. That was one. Here's a Shrek one that was embarrassing for me. I had we were in some city. I think we were in Kansas City, actually. I had been sick. I went to an urgent care. While I was at the urgent care, I happened to see a dad, and he had his little kid, his little, like, probably 6-month, 1-year-old, and the kid was sitting on his hands like this between his legs, and he was sort of like made his hands into a swing, and he was sort of swinging back and forth between his legs. And the kid looked so happy, and I was like, oh, that's a great dad move. I'm stealing that. And so I went back to the hotel room, and I did it with Sophie, and she loved it, and she was swinging back and forth. And I was like, oh, I'm next level. This is great. I like this. And then that night, Lisa and Sophie came to pick me up at the theater, and I was like, oh, I want to show all the dressers and all the other, whoever the cast is like, I want to show them my new dad move. And so I literally assembled a crowd to watch my little dad move. And I put Sophie between my hands, and we're standing in the hallway of this theater. And I did 1, 2, and on the third swing, Sophie totally just fell backwards, hit her head on the cement, made a good loud thud. Lisa screamed. I was like, huh! all these people that I had assembled to watch me abuse my child, were like, okay, we're gonna go now. And Lisa's like, what are you doing? And I was like, you're okay, Sophie, you're okay. It was so bad. It was like, oh man.
I love that you invited the audience. Like you could have just done that privately. You had
workshopped it. In your defense, you had workshopped it. But
that's right.
Eric, I cannot think of a better way to waste 45 minutes than to spend here talking with you. Thank you for demeaning yourself by being on our stupid little podcast.
No, this was so fun. I would love to come back and chat more if you guys ever want me.
No, thanks.
David, instantly. No, we're good. We're good.
No,
in fact, I don't think it recorded. Oh, shucks.
So weird.
So often, our days are hectic and full of, dare I say, raised voices and all sorts of cataclysmic middle school nonsense that, unfortunately, my son generally runs away from, and my daughter and I are combative about. But at the end of the day, we always end on a good note, and I am able to converse with her and say, okay, let's debrief the little fight. And so often, listen, this is not to say that I'm always right. Far from it. She's becoming quite the argumentative kid, making her own case and advocating for herself. And often she's right. But occasionally it is nice to hear a teenager just say, I don't know, I'm just having growing pains and my emotions are all over the place. And sometimes I just need to yell at you, Dad. I still love you, though. And that happened twice this week.
Wow.
And I know.
That's very introspective and thoughtful. And yeah, that's amazing.
Totally. And you're reminded, I'm not raising monsters when you are, at bedtime and everything is okay and you all love each other again. So my something great is just thank you, introspective preteens who still get that their feelings are fleeting and love is eternal. So there you go.
High roll. Our something greats couldn't be more perfect for each other. Yours is like schmaltzy and stupid, and mine is going to be stupid and stupid. So my something great this week. So my son is now in a My Little Pony phase. Everything is My Little Pony. We have to watch My Little Pony movies and TV shows, and we have to have My Little Pony ponies that we play around with. So it's My Little Pony life.
I just heard in the news this morning, NPR was having a story about how there's a museum in upstate New York called the Museum of Play, and every single year, it's only been around for maybe a decade or so, and every single year, maybe 2 decades, whatever, it's not been around for 50 years. Every single year, they put a toy into the Hall of Fame, and they've thought outside the box to have like a cardboard box as their Hall of Fame. This year, for the 7th year in a row, is My Little Pony has been nominated, and they don't yet know if My Little Pony will be in the Museum of Play Hall of Fame yet. Was that okay to interject with?
Yeah, you just railroad my something great with a story that doesn't matter. But okay. It was great. So I have been watching everything My Little Pony, which is as mindless as you think, because there's 5 generations of this show. There's the original 80s one, and there's a current one. So I want to give a shout out, and my something great is there is a new movie called My Little Pony, A New Generation. And listen, the movie is the movie, right? They all go chase the crystal and they win or something. But the music, it's a musical. The music in this movie is a bop. It is slapping. It is whatever the kids are saying now for great music. The music is so good. It has this like 6 on Broadway kind of vibe, like super, super pop. But it's written by Michael Mahler and Alan Schmuckler, which is a great last name.
Totally.
And there is a song called Fit Right In, which we're going to close our episode with, which is it's so good. I literally am bopping in the car when it plays. So I love it so much. Thank you for writing really cool music in movies that, listen, don't really fucking matter. But I actually, one of my personal goals this year is to give more compliments. I've maybe said this before, but it's like whenever you think something nice, like, oh, that waiter's really good or whatever, don't just keep it to yourself. So I reached out to these guys and I said, hey, I want to tell you as a dad who listens to this shit all the time, these songs are great and thank you. So that's my something great is Fit Right In from My Little Pony, A New Generation. And that's our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at DavidFMPod everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge in the comments section of a porn site near you.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, and we'll compliment you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.
I thought Earth ponies were the pony ladder's bottom rung. I heard the Pegasi were brutes you'd hate to be among. You smell like fishes. I bet you're young. Meet any one of you, the thing to do is run away. But although I know we're all a bunch of different breeds, take away our wings and horns and we're just frightened steeds. So let's put aside our differences, cause what we need to win. Oh, come on, rip out all the pages of your history book. Just because we're undercover doesn't mean we're crooks. When we walk you through the crowd and give you brand new looks, I spin. You're gonna fit right in.
This is a new low.
You're gonna fit right in.
It's never gonna work. They taught us unicorns were super scary maniacs with horns like razors and tongues like tasers and teeth like tacks. They take your hooves and then they grind them into midnight snacks. The basic gist of it is unicorns are not okay.
Look, I know we're risking everything for this endeavor, but look at us, we're brave and strong and weird and clever. We're running out of options and we're desperate to be free. You're gonna fit right in.
If you say so.
You're gonna fit right in. I know you will. Now watch and learn. This is how a unicorn walks. This is how a unicorn talks. This is how a unicorn hoops. This is how a unicorn hoops. Oh, geez, stop. This is how a unicorn struts. Oh, watch us shake our unicorn butts. Now you're in the unicorn know. Wow. Soon you'll be a unicorn pro. Oh, a unicorn horn makes a unicorn stride. It's the more head on your forehead. It's the source of your pride. Every unicorn who's born has worn a horn that's unique. And folks